Thank you. So that was the Pledge of Allegiance, everyone. We'll move on now to the roll call.
President Honeychurch.
Here.
Trustee Cargo Reed.
Here.
Trustee Cara.
Here.
Trustee Lopez Latta.
Here.
Trustee Thurston.
Here.
Trustee Voice.
Here.
Trustee Young. It's not here yet. Student Trustee Srinivasan will join us at 7. We have quorum.
Excellent. So next item is item 4, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Next item is comments from members of the public. Are there any requests to speak? The answer is no. So now we'll move into closed session and resume the regular meeting at 7 o'clock. I can tell you now there's no action taken in closed session.
You didn't know we were going to vote on something, huh? Oh.
I'm Andre Williams. I'm the lab tech at Solano Community College for welding in the CTE department. I went to Solano, I got my 2-year degree in mechatronics, and then I got hired here probably about a year after that. I think the program's good. We have a lot of equipment here, different shears, iron workers, we have a plasma table, plasma cutters, saws. We can do all different processes of welding from TIG, stick to MIG. So we have it all here. So we have real good relationships with the unions. So if you come here, finish some classes, get at least a certificate, you should be able to get into the door almost any union. So if you want to get into welding, no matter if it's a career path or something you want to do around home, you know, this is a place we have all the stuff you can do and learn, and we'll teach it all. Solano Community College is the place for you.
If you're interested in the CIS programs or any CTE programs such as robotics or auto tech or welding, get in contact with us. You can send me an email and I will definitely get back to you. If you email me, I will get back to you within 24 hours and set up a time where we can meet and we can discuss the various programs that we have to offer. I know that Solano College has something for every high schooler in Solano County. There's no doubt about it. It's just that we want to have the opportunity to train you and to teach you so you can grow and enhance your ability to get gainful employment, but not only that, to be a continuous learner.
Hi, I'm Ruth Fuller and I'm a librarian here at Solano Community College. and I want to welcome you to our new Library and Learning Resources building. This library has been built for you. We have many areas for you to study in, from quiet, silent areas to reservable group study rooms, as well as large tables for you to study and work together. We have a textbook reserve collection that holds the textbooks for most, if not all, of your classes. We have computers for you to use. We have laptops that you can check out and take home. We have calculators for you to use with your math courses. We have bones that you can use with your science courses. You can get further information at www.solano.edu/library. This is our virtual library where all of our virtual library services are available, including chat service with our college librarians. Also on this page, you have access to our article databases for scholarly research, as well as our popular magazine service, where you can actually flip through magazines like Sports Illustrated or Time Magazine. We have our ebook collections, we have our film databases, and many, many other resources for you to use for your school needs as well as for fun. Our librarians and staff are here to help you with all of your research needs.
I think that the opportunity we have here at Solano to get involved in our advanced manufacturing program is spectacular. I can't emphasize there's nowhere else in California you can work with hands-on this amount of equipment, this different types of equipment, automation equipment, robotics equipment. It is a standout program that we have here that's unlike any others in our region. And it will lead you to a rewarding career. I have all my students, getting jobs without a problem. You usually get to pick which jobs they want. I can't emphasize enough how a program like this can just really yield a great, successful career. If you want more information, please contact me. Again, Douglas Green. My email address, douglas.green, just like the color, @solano.edu. Hope to see you here.
I stand.
I stand.
I stand.
I stand against hate.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will be an advocate for social justice.
In the fight against racism and hate.
In the fight against racism and hate.
In the fight against racism and hate.
I will support diversity, equity, and inclusion.
В борьбе с расизмом и ненавистью я буду бороться всегда, стискивая кулаки и сглатывая слезы.
In the fight against racism and hate.
In the fight against racism and hate.
In the fight against racism and hate, if necessary, I will get into good trouble.
Sa paglaban ng rasismo, hindi ako tatahimik.
In the fight against racism and hate.
In the fight against racism and hate.
In the fight against racism and hate, I will speak my truth.
I will not be silent.
I will prioritize community.
I will be an advocate.
In the fight against racism and hate,
we commit to doing better, to being bolder, and to contributing to a climate where hate is unacceptable and mindfulness and compassion are the norms. We are Solano College.
I'm Andre Williams. I'm the lab tech at Solano Community College for welding in the CTE department. I went to Solano, I got my 2-year degree in mechatronics, and then I got hired here probably about a year after that. I think the program's good. We have a lot of equipment here, different shears, iron workers, we have a plasma table, plasma cutters, saws. We can do all different processes of welding from TIG, stick to MIG. So we have it all here. So we have real good relationships with the unions. So if you come here, finish some classes, get at least a certificate, you should be able to get into the door almost any union. So if you want to get into welding, no matter if it's a career path or something you want to do around home, this is a place we have all the stuff you can do and learn, and we'll teach it all. Solano Community College is the place for you.
If you're interested in the CIS programs or any CTE programs such as robotics or auto tech or welding, get in contact with us. You can send me an email and I will definitely get back to you. If you email me, I will get back to you within 24 hours and set up a time where we can meet and we can discuss the various programs that we have to offer. I know that Solano College has something for every high schooler in Solano County. There's no doubt about it. It's just that we want to have the opportunity to train you and to teach you so you can grow and enhance your ability to get gainful employment, but not only that, to be a continuous learner.
Hi, I'm Ruth Fuller, and I'm a librarian here at Solano Community College, and I want to welcome you to our new Library and Learning Resources building. This library has been built for you. We have many areas for you to study in, from quiet, silent areas to reservable group study rooms, as well as large tables for you to study and work together. We have a textbook reserve collection that holds the textbooks for most, if not all, of your classes. We have computers for you to use. We have laptops that you can check out and take home. We have calculators for you to use with your math courses. We have bones that you can use with your science courses. You can get further information at www.solano.edu/library. This is our virtual library where all of our virtual library services are available, including chat service with our college librarians. Also on this page, you have access to our article databases for scholarly research, as well as our popular magazine service, where you can actually flip through magazines like Sports Illustrated or Time Magazine. We have our ebook collections, we have our film.
So at this time, I'll reconvene the regular meeting. First item is report of action taken in closed session, and there was no action taken in closed session. Now it's time for comments from members of the public. Are there any requests to speak? Thank you. Next is item 10, the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the board to be routine and will be enacted by the board in one motion. There's no discussion on these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or the public requests specific items to be discussed or removed. Time will be provided before the vote for clarification questions without removing an item from the consent agenda. Is there any request to remove anything from the consent agenda? No. So is there a motion to, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
It's moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. There are no items removed, so it's now action items. This is number 12, a resignation to retire. Who's presenting this? Are you doing it?
Yes, I'll be presenting this evening on this item. This is for Nedra Park. You may have remembered that we did approve her previous request to retire. She has just changed the date to December 30th of 2023. So we're asking the board to accept this date change for her retirement.
So is there a motion to approve this resignation?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the resignation to retire. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Retirement's approved. Next item is item B, which is presented by Vice President David Williams. It's a new classified manager job description, the Director of Marketing and Audience Services.
Thank you, President Honeychurch, members of the board. This is a new job description that we're submitting for your consideration tonight. The theater, dance, music departments have not had consistent box office support and marketing support for their programs for several years. So this position will coalesce all those activities into a single person who will oversee the box office activities and marketing to ensure that we have robust opportunities to build up audiences for these programs.
All right, are there any questions? At this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move that we approve item 12B.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the new classified manager job description. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The job description is approved. Next item is a bond measure. Lucky Lofton's the presenter. It's approval of a DSA project inspector services pool of firms. Mr. Lofton, you're on the air here.
Thank you, sir, President Honeychurch, members of the board. We are seeking the board's approval of this pool of inspection firms that we will draw from on future projects.
All right. Any other questions of Mr. Lofton? Is there a motion to approve the item, this approval of the project inspector services pool?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Trustee.
I move that we approve item 12C.
I'll second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Any further questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. Next item is item D, contract award to Optima Inspections Incorporated for project inspection services for the Fairfield campus gym. This is also presented by Mr. Lofton.
Yes, sir. We are seeking the board's approval to award this contract to Optima Services for the inspection for the gym AV project. This is an audiovisual improvement project for the gym, sound, audio. It's a minor inspection services for structural connection.
All right. Any questions? Not. Is there a motion? Someone make a. I'm sorry, I forgot whether there was a motion to approve it yet. I don't think so.
No, there wasn't.
So is there a motion to approve this item?
I move we approve item 12D.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All right, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
President Honeychurch, not that I'm in a hurry, but the next three are very similar items, and so I thought I would make a motion for renewal of all three of our ambulance agreements so that our students can do all the needed services to approve and give it BP Williams a chance to talk about all three at once. So I'll make a motion to approve item 12E, F, and G.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, and I think Vice President David Williams is the presenter on this item.
Thank you. I think Trustee Voice did a great job. These are all renewals. We'll allow our EMT students to have practical experience in the field.
All right, so the motion was to approve items E, F, and G, correct? Correct. So all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. So the next item is presented by Vice President Lisa Neely, and it's item H, right? Resolution proclaiming November 2023 as Native American Heritage Month.
Thank you, President Honeychurch, members of the board. So this is asking the board for approval of the proclamation or resolution to proclaim November 2023 as Native American Heritage Month.
All right, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Before it's approved, I would like to have the resolution read, please.
Well, that would be Vice President Neely's job, I think.
Yes, happy to.
And you can start with whereas.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Whereas the Solano Community College District Governing Board celebrates the remarkable diversity and rich cultures of Native American, Native Alaskan, Native Hawaiian, and affiliated island communities. And whereas the 2023 Native American Heritage Month theme is celebrating tribal sovereignty and identity. And whereas observance of Native American Heritage Month was enacted on October 30th, 1991 with the passage of Public Law 102-123. And whereas the first Americans have made great contributions and sacrifices for the growth and establishment of the United States. And whereas indigenous cultures, histories, and traditions have enriched our nation beyond measure. And whereas we honor the sovereignty of Native American tribes and the rich ancestry and traditions of indigenous peoples, and commit to spreading awareness and educating people about the challenges they have faced in the past and today. Resolved, therefore, that the Solano Community College District Governing Board proclaims November 2023 as Native American Heritage Month. Hopefully passed and adopted this first day of November 2023.
Thank you for reading the resolution. So is there a motion to approve?
I second the motion.
So it's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution. Please call the roll.
Trustee Voice,
Aye.
President Honeychurch,
Aye.
Trustee Cara,
Aye.
Trustee Cargo Reed,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez Letta,
Aye.
Trustee Thurston,
Aye.
Trustee Young,
Aye.
Student Trustee Srinivasan.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And now it's item 13, a board study session. No actions required. And this is presented by Vice President John Cornel. How do you pronounce your name? Cornelison. It's a banner SAAS project update. And you're going to tell us what SAAS is.
I'm going to tell you all about it. Absolutely.
It's not a Scandinavian airline.
What's that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
It's not a Scandinavian airline, right?
Oh, no, it's not, actually.
Thank you.
So you'll know in 15 minutes the whole history of it. So,
Okay. Thank
but
you.
yeah, good evening, President Honeychurch and members of the board. It's my pleasure to give an update on our Banner SAS project. This project was originally approved by the board in September of 2022. It's a 18-month to 2-year project that I've tried to condense down into about 5 or 6 slides. So here it goes. Go. Click around. Okay, so the Banner SAS project vision and purpose. So Solano College is migrating our Banner Enterprise Resource Planning System, i.e. ERP, to a software as a service or SaaS model to transform our college's administrative infrastructure into a dynamic and future-ready ecosystem that ultimately provides a superior educational experience for our entire community. By embracing SaaS technology, we aim to enhance student engagement, increase our security posture, reduce costs over time, and optimize operations. So that's the vision for the project, but I wanted to take a moment to explain what Banner is, what an ERP is, and then we'll talk about the SaaS model of that. So Banner ERP is a enterprise resource planning software suite that's designed specifically for higher education. It has 5 main functional areas that run the day-to-day operations of our college. So those 5 areas are student, finance, accounts receivable, and financial aid, and human resources. Each functional area has a whole collection of business processes that range from student course registration, curriculum, scheduling, our budget, right? Paying our bills, all the purchasing functions, accounts receivable, collecting tuition, posting that to our ledger, financial aid, all the financial aid functions that are provided to our students are run through Banner, and human resources, the hiring, recruitment, and retention of all of our employees and position control. So Banner does everything. It runs our college, right? It's a software suite. So this slide's kind of tiny. This is not one of my graphs, but I thought it was a nice graph to include. Kind of gives the history of Banner. So most all colleges in California use two flavors of an ERP, DataTel Colleague or Banner. There are others too, and there are exceptions, but generally speaking, most colleges in California use either Colleague or Banner. There used to be two separate companies, right? So back in the day. So we implemented Banner in 2008. A company called SunGard was the vendor who produced Banner at that time. They acquired it from SCT Banner at the time. And DataTel was also a separate company. So there was some competition, right? In 2012, those two companies merged together and formed Ellucian. So when you hear Ellucian, that's one company that provides both DataTel and Banner and has roughly 41% of the higher education student information system market share in US and Canada. So Ellucian is the company that makes Banner, a large company, and this basically is providing the SaaS model, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So Banner on-premise ERP, right? So when you hear an IT talk, something that's on-premise, that means it's hosted here. So we have servers and a data center with a generator, and we have all the connectivity to provide that service, okay? That means it's hosted on-prem, okay? So up here on the screen, we have our Banner ERP, which is a collection of databases. We have Luminous, which is my Solano, which all of our students and employees use day to day, right? That's our portal. And we have 37 different applications that currently talk to Banner, ranging from CCC Apply to what software we use to print checks, to California Virtual Campus. I mean, and a whole series, 37 of them that currently talk to Banner. So a lot. And what you're looking at here is the actual server stack that's over in our data center that hosts Banner. We have a physical campus. You can walk around. It's a very beautiful campus. But that really is our campus too, that stack of servers, right? That's all of our data, all of our processes and everything. Of course, it's backed up offsite and all that good stuff too, but that is it. It's a stack of servers over there. Okay, so that's the current environment. That's how we host Banner right now and provide that service to all the functional areas and our students. So what this project does, right, well, let me back up a second. There are challenges with that current on-premise hosting environment. So number one, infrastructure challenges, right? We have to maintain those servers, right? We have to buy them, to deploy them, we have to upgrade them. We have to maintain our data center, right? We have to maintain all the software licenses that are involved with all of that, okay? So it's a large footprint and it requires a lot of effort to keep that up and running, okay? One of the advantages of going to the cloud model, which I'll talk about in a second, we're tapping into a scalable computing model. So if we need more resources, let's say our enrollment just skyrocketed one year and we need more compute, more storage, cloud models can just scale up. We don't have to go buy another server, another storage system to do that, right? So it's a challenge maintaining that though. Staffing and expertise, IT skill sets are in high demand. It's always a challenge to retain or to recruit and retain IT folks. They learn Banner, they learn the ins and outs of it, and then they get hired by the private sector or another college and move on, right? So it's always difficult for any college to maintain deep expertise in certain software packages in the IT world. So that's a challenge. Software updates and maintenance. Banner releases quarterly updates and patches to the software. Our team has to deploy that. It's a lot of time and effort, a lot of testing is required, and it's prone to a lot of errors, right? So that is a challenge. Again, 37 different applications integrate with Banner. We have to write all the code. We have to write all the different methodologies to do that connection and maintain it within our IT department. So it's a lot of work to do that, right? That's a challenge. Security and compliance, you've seen all the headlines. We've talked about security. You hear about it. It's an ongoing challenge for any IT organization or any company for that, any organization. Security and the related compliance that's kind of wrapped around security takes a lot of effort to maintain that as well, and it's super important work, obviously. Vendor dependency with our consultants and the different third-party integrators that have to connect everything and support it and figure out resolutions when there's errors or something breaks. We have a high dependency on that right now, right? Because of some of those staffing challenges I mentioned earlier. And lastly, the last challenge with our current environment, disaster recovery, right? We are in an earthquake zone. Floods also a risk. There are natural disasters that if for any reason that data center was taken offline for a long periods of time, we would not be able to recover in a prompt way, right? We have to restore from backups and do all that later, but all that server stack has to go somewhere else. There's no redundant data center that fails over in the event of a catastrophic disaster, right? So that's a challenge, right? So when we move to the cloud model, which is what you see in this diagram here in the middle, these companies, mainly Amazon and Microsoft, right, and Google, those are public cloud providers. They have data centers across worldwide, but also, obviously here in the United States, where they have these huge data centers, huge, and they have rows and rows and tens of thousands of servers. And basically, we're renting space in that area. And so, if we need to, scale up, they can do that very easily. That's the cloud infrastructure, and then Ellucian provides the Banner expertise that's hosted within that environment. So in this diagram right here, we have those functional areas of Banner: student, financial aid, finance, accounts receivable, right, HR and payroll. That's being moved over to Amazon Cloud and then maintained by Ellucian, right? They provide the software, and that's a software as a service, right? So we're no longer licensing it and hosting it here. It becomes a service. And it's kind of like electricity. When we need more electricity, we just get more electricity from PG&E, right? They have to install some stuff and do some infrastructure, but we need more electricity, it just scales up. And that's where computing's going in the future. Everything's being moved over to the cloud services, and software as a service is part of the cloud infrastructure, okay? So here we have, the Banner SaaS environment. We have Ellucian Cloud, going to host our experience portal. I'll talk more about that in a second. DegreeWorks and Microsoft Cloud for our identity management. So the benefits to doing this, there's many, a lot of benefits. So in addressing those challenges I talked about earlier, once we make this move, and it's a big heavy lift for our college. This is not software you just install and click next, done, right? It's a huge project, 5,000 plus hours, right? 7 figures. It's a big project. But the benefits to our college, once it's all said and done, is enhanced student engagement. Through our new experience portal that we're replacing My Solano, or that is replacing My Solano, we have a modern interface that works good on mobile devices, that's intelligent. It can tailor the experience based on the student's role, right? Or the employee role. A lot of benefits that we don't currently have with My Solano. So that's coming. I'll talk about the timeline a little bit, but that's coming as a benefit. Robust security. I know it's kind of covered by the little window there, but again, when you move to a cloud model, you're transferring the risk of that security over to that cloud provider, right? If you think about that for a second, right? We have, these cloud providers. Amazon has, thousands and thousands of employees maintaining this infrastructure. Ellucian has hundreds and hundreds of employees maintaining this infrastructure. On our infrastructure side, over on our team, we have 3. And they are very, very good at their jobs, right? But it's just not enough to keep up with the ever-expanding scope of technology, right? So tapping into cloud models resolves that. And that's just for the infrastructure. The Banner team maintains Banner, right? Cost efficiency over time, it's a big investment up front, but again, as we move to the cloud model, we reduce costs for consultants and licenses, and we save money over time. Those funds can be redirected towards other college resources. Third-party integration, again, when you move to the cloud, everything's modern and streamlined. It's very easy to integrate things. When I say integrate, I'm talking about software talking with other software, right? The integration of different software pieces and flowing of data in between them. Okay. Scalability, again, if we need more compute, more storage, very easy. Cloud providers can do that very quickly. Seamless updates and maintenance. Again, We no longer have to deploy those quarterly updates and the underlying operating system patches, which is very time consuming and prone to errors. They do it for us. We have the best in analytics and reporting when it's fully implemented, a product called Insights. It'll give us very good dashboards and real-time data that we can make decisions from. And again, alleviating the disaster recovery risk. If there was a catastrophic disaster here, we could still have Banner available. Future-proofing as well, as things like AI and new technologies evolve, we'll be ready for that. That's another benefit of moving to the cloud. Right? We're already there, and it's easy to deploy. And as additional statewide initiatives are released, we're just better positioned to implement those statewide initiatives, things like California Virtual Campus and things like that, because the underlying connectivity is modern. We don't have to actually create it, right? So those are the benefits and kind of overview of what this project's addressing. So the timeline, again, this is a super high level timeline. This is a very, very large project. But here we are right here in October, actually November now. This work, the board approved this, it's again, September 2022. Work started shortly thereafter. It really picked up in April. And here we are in October. There's 7 different or 8 different work streams that in project management speak, that's a body of work, right? That's scheduled and spans across multiple months, right? And so work stream number 1 is the functional area business process analysis, optimization, and SSB9 adoption. It's a lot right there. Make a long story short, you saw that diagram earlier, those 5 different areas, all those business processes that run the day-to-day operations of our college. Ellucian consultants come in, analyze our current practices, make recommendations so we can better utilize Banner as a product, but also the SaaS model of that. That's what that work stream there is. It involves pretty much all areas of the college. Work stream number 2, that's all the technical things like the architecture, infrastructure, and the migration of our data, right? There's a lot that goes into that. Again, third-party integrations, 37 different applications have to be wired up to talk to Banner in this new environment. A lot of work there. Work stream number 4, reporting and assessment. That's building out those dashboards in what's called our data warehouse. So we can basically have all the reports and dashboards and key performance metrics that we don't currently have access to right now, right? These new reporting tools make it very easy. Student identity migration, workstream number 5, that's kind of a technical thing, but basically right now, students, when they log on to My Solano, they put their username and password, and of course, there's a single sign-on method, so they lets them in, right? We're moving all that over to Microsoft for a more modern identity management, a more secure identity management. So that's the student account migration, we can call that. Workstream number 6, experience portal development. That's something I'm very excited about. That is our digital equivalent of our campus, right? So My Solano right now, everyone uses that. Experience, which is a product of Ellucian called Experience, that is replacing My Solano. So we have a great team in place. We're envisioning this portal. We're going to make it the best it possibly can when it launches, okay? And it will keep getting better after that as well. But all these are like sub-projects within the main project. Workstream number 7. When you make a migration like this, you're moving data processes to the cloud, spinning up all these new, modern applications. Everything has to be tested end to end. Mock payrolls, financial aid disbursements, hiring. I mean, everything has to be simulated and tested. This is a huge lift for all functional areas. It's going to be hard to get this done, right? I'll talk about that in a little bit. But basically, everything has to be tested end to end, and so that period is coming up soon. And workstream number 8 are go live tasks. Okay, we actually start planning out the communication and making the go live process happen. We're targeting up here at the very top, April 8th, 2024. So that's it's coming up soon. Okay. All right, so there are risks. In fact, there's a long list of project risks that could alter that date. But there's 3 main areas of risk that I just wanted to report to the board. So functional area resource constraints. When I say functional area, I'm talking about finance, financial aid, student areas, right, human resources. Those are called functional areas. And so again, We have our day-to-day jobs and our day-to-day operations. We're layering this project work on top of that. So it's a heavy lift. And so there are resource constraints and there are competing priorities. And we're doing our best to mitigate this risk through overtime planning, through getting supplemental help, things like that. So we can conduct that testing and do that work, which is essential and required to go live. We do have a lot of risks in the area of vendor dependencies on Ellucian and their vendor partners for SaaS compatible products. For example, eVisions, which is a product that does check printing and PO printing. Obviously can't go live, not being able to print checks, right? So what that means is basically you have Banner on-prem, Banner SaaS. We've moved everything over. All these other applications have to talk to the Banner SaaS environment, and they do that through what's called an API, right? An application programming interface. And we are depending on these vendors to actually release those APIs to have SaaS workable products. A lot of them are targeting quarter 4 2023 or quarter 1 2024. If that doesn't happen, that April 8th date will not happen. So that is a risk. Nothing we can do. The only mitigation is I don't like to use the word hope, right? But it's expressing human values. They have committed to this, and I hope that they deliver, right? Because you can't go live without that. Last is the, as we enter the UAT, the user acceptance testing phases, that end-to-end testing. When we identify defects and issues with the software, we have to have clear escalation channels with Ellucian to get those defects resolved so we can retest. If that turns into weeks, or we're waiting on like a lag time, that could definitely alter our April 8th go live as well. So we're monitoring all this. There's things beyond our control that we have to just plan around. And lastly, I just want to give a special thanks to our IT team. This is an absolute huge undertaking. Again, it really is a 5,000 hour plus undertaking. Not only for us, but for all the functional areas as well. So I want to thank the functional areas, again, finance, all the teams in finance and HR, all the student areas. This is a lot of work in addition to our day-to-day operations. And so we'll get it done. We'll hopefully to preserve that April 8th date. But yeah, there's a lot of play. So we'll see how that goes. So any questions? Yes.
Every now and then, college or university hold them up for grants.
Mm-hmm.
Any of those colleges, Banner, part of the cows, they were not able to hack into this. But if they had another program, they were high speed.
Yeah.
These people, experts hacking into college, that's the prevent.
It's always an evolving landscape with security. So that's one of the advantages when I talked about fortifying our security posture. When we move Banner to the cloud and it's not hosted here, if there was an outbreak of ransomware on our campus and that ransomware spread, it can't hit our Banner environment because it's off-site, it's in the cloud, it's not part of here. So that's your typical ransomware scenario. Nothing is ever 100% secure, right? So, yeah, but it's a very, very low probability of a data center in Amazon having that issue. So. There are other threats beyond ransomware that data centers are subject to, but that's one thing nice about the cloud environment. They're redundant. So like this, when we complete this move, all the Banner SaaS is built upon Amazon Web Services. This data center is up in Oregon. It's going to host our environment. That's replicated to other data centers, and so if something happens, they can fail over. Exactly.
Are there other questions? Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Firstly, thank you. I was make sure we thank you for the presentations and the lots of information. I had two questions. One was, what's the role of our data center then if we're once we are on the cloud? Is there a role for us to have a data center as redundant, or like what does that become?
That's a great question. So once Banner is moved, there's still a lot of other stuff in the data center. So it'll be around for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. When I say stuff, I mean all of our connectivity equipment, our outbound internet connections, all the other non-Banner applications that we host, Our email is already in the cloud, right, through Office 365, but there's a lot of other software and services that data center will still provide. But over time, like a decade, it will be phased out.
Okay. Yeah. And then I don't want to get too involved in project management because I don't get paid enough to. But what's the thought on trying to roll this all out in the middle of spring semester instead of over the summer? I just worry about like the complications for students in the middle of their semester. Suddenly my Solano is totally different, and now they're trying to navigate things.
We worry about that too. So April 8th, the week of spring break, was the target date right now because it is spring break. We always want to have contingencies. So if that doesn't happen, we do it on summer, right? If we can't do it during summer, we have to look into like next January or something. So you want to start with that. And so that's why that was selected, right?
Other questions? Go ahead.
I think that intrinsically answered one of mine, because I was going to ask if there was any buffer or plan B in case the March 8th didn't come to fruition, just because normally when moving on to the cloud, it's easier said than done sometimes.
Yes, totally. So the question is there a buffer just in case things happen? I mean, if you look at the timeline, I'll go back. It's very compressed, very aggressive, no doubt. If you really look at this is super high level, but there's a lot of concurrent work streams happening. So there's a lot of risks. So in project management speak, those risks are documented and defined, and each has a plan. And then we have to basically reassess to see if that April 8th date is still feasible or not. That assessment will take place in January if we see if these vendor dependency issues are resolved by then. Those are the main showstoppers. It's the integrations and the user acceptance testing are the main showstoppers on that April 8th.
Okay. Then my next question was if there was a UAT testing plan in place. That way the designated testers know and can plan work accordingly.
Yeah, that's like worksheet number 7, part 1. That's the planning phase.
That's the planning part? Okay.
And then we execute starting late January up until go live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate it for someone who's not into computer science or anything of the sort. So I really appreciate the easy to understand presentation. So my question is not to use any technical terms or anything, but as a student, I've used my Solano for 2 years and I know the chaos that it is and how hard it is as an ECHS student during that time to, go and get a class because the website crashes all the time. And so I was just wondering, as a student, are you going to get student involvement, get student voices, see what they want on the sites, or do you have anything set up?
I'm so glad you asked that question. So this gets into the work stream number 6, the experience portal development. So just last Friday, we had our first project steering work group to start envisioning this new portal, right? And we are in the process of recruiting, hopefully 4 to 5 students to be part of this work group. So they can be part of that process and part of that envisioning. And then when we do releases of the new portal, we make it available for people to take a look at it, what's called a soft launch before the actual real go live. We want to have a whole body of students testing it out, get feedback, improve it, re-release it, but then continue that work even after the main go live. So student involvement is essential in this project for sure.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
There's one more question. Go ahead.
You understood everything. I did not understand anything.
Okay.
But I am going to attempt to ask questions. I am not tech savvy, so this is a whole new language. It's German to me. But there was a couple of things that I thought I misunderstood perhaps. In 2012, you said Banner and Lucien joined. And you mentioned a number, 41%. Was that 41% of community colleges use Banner? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so we're talking about this graph right here, which came from a higher ed publication. But that 41% is right here. So 26% Banner, 13% Colleague, 2% Power Campus. There's another acquisition that rolled into these products. Of the US and Canada market, 41%, according to this graph.
I am terribly embarrassed. Can you say that again?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, in big universities or big organizations, educational organizations, there are typically multiple products that provide student information system, finance, HR, like you hear like SAP, right, and like Oracle and things like that, right? The Colleague and Banner ERPs are unique for higher ed because they do everything. It's SIS, finance, and HR, all wrapped up into one package. And so there used to be two main providers of this software, DataTel and Banner, right? It's an affordable solution for a public community college, right? They merged together and created Ellucian in 2012. And once that merger happened, their market share is basically 41% of the US and Canada higher ed space for the student information systems part of the ERP. So all the student functions that are in there. Does that help?
59% are using a different product?
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what you're
all
saying
kind of
to me?
represented here. Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you're comfortable with that, the fact that 51% are using something else? I'm just trying to...
we kind of have to be.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I mean by that is there's not a lot of affordable options other than DataTel and Banner. And then migrating to a different ERP is another order of magnitude of cost and work compared to like a SaaS migration or something like that.
So our students, when they leave us and go to other institutions, let's say they take classes at Mount Diablo and here, do they traditionally have very similar?
That's actually a great question because like if you go down the highway at Napa Valley College, they're a DataTel Colleague college. Still Ellucian. We're a Banner college, Ellucian. Completely different products, completely different interface, same company. So no, it is different. It is different.
What's the logic for them to do that?
Just mergers and acquisitions over the years. Yeah, they're two separate products.
Do you think that in the future there will be some sort of amalgamation?
That's actually a really good question. So there's a lot of conversation right now at the state level about creating a common ERP, enterprise resource planning, for all colleges. It's conceptual now, it's discussions, but it would be the same kind of model as like Canvas, which is a common learning management system that's adopted statewide right now, That's the intent behind it. So there is talk about that, but it's at least a decade away.
My other question is Amazon. Now, why did you choose Amazon when you mentioned Google as another option? Is it just a pure money thing? Is it a political thing?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So looking at this right here, right? So we're talking about the Amazon piece right here. This pointer doesn't work on these screens, but we don't have a choice. So Ellucian contracts with Amazon. We don't have a choice. Now we can say we want to use Google, Ellucian, Amazon. Amazon is the dominant provider of the underlying infrastructure that powers the software, with Microsoft being right behind them.
Okay, so you promise us at the end of this
Uh-oh.
there will be a user-friendly experience.
That is the goal. That is the goal.
And the promise.
I
didn't hear.
I don't know. I'll defer that to the president.
The goal.
Okay.
No, absolutely. No, we're doing our very, very best to make anything that our students access, that our employees need for their jobs, to be the best possible experience. There are constraints. We're stuck within what Ellucian provides. There's only a little thing. With the portal, there's a lot of area of customization, but we're kind of stuck with what they provide. So, but it is better than what we have now. So I promise to do my very best.
Okay, so our best option is what we've got here. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for the question. And you have a question?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. I'd like to thank you very much for this presentation. It was very thorough and very understandable, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks very much for the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our history with Banner has been difficult since it's 2012 or so.
Yeah.
But thanks for your help.
My pleasure.
And your presentation tonight.
Yes, great.
Thank you. So the next item on our agenda is information items. It's a revision to the district's mission statement, which you have in your packet. It brings it up to date, adding bachelor's degrees. So go ahead, David Williams, Vice President.
President Honeychurch, you summarized it very well. The board is on fire tonight. No, we are obligated to review our mission statement periodically, and as we're preparing for our next accreditation, we recognize that we hadn't included our baccalaureate program in our mission statement. We are expected to publicize to the public what awards and credentials we offer. So we did add the inclusion of our bachelor's degree in the mission statement. We also did a little bit of cleanup in some of the language, make it a little bit shorter, to bring it a little bit up to date. It doesn't essentially change our mission. We're doing well and we're good. This is just more accurate as to what we reflect. I will add, we've had a number of discussions about including a commitment to equity and diversity and inclusion in our mission statement. And what we decided was to keep the mission statement pretty simple. And we're working on creating a separate statement of diversity, a commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility that we will bring to the board at a future date.
All right, well, that's very good. Sure.
So that's an interesting thing that you decided to go separate. I wonder if
I would never tell you that you're wrong, but I will say that the first line of our mission statement, Solano Community College mission, is to educate a culturally and academically diverse student population drawn from our local communities. So we do address it in our mission statement. The mission statement, I would love a mission statement that says we serve students, right? But they're very simple, easy to remember. This doesn't roll off the tongue. This is a compliance statement essentially that meets the expectations of our accrediting commission. So we have referenced our commitment to diversity here, but we also feel like we want to make a stronger, separate statement of diversity and equity and inclusion that will address issues of anti-racism and other things like that. So we wanted to make sure that it was strong, but it didn't get lost in a larger mission statement.
So we'll look forward to that in the future. All right, thanks. Thanks, Vice President Williams. So the next item then is...
Did we vote on it?
Sorry?
Or is this just information? Right?
This is on
Thank
for information only. So we'll vote on it at our next meeting. So there now is item 15, which is announcements. Are there any announcements?
I do have one. I wanted to share out from Measure Q today that we were talking about lots of issues, especially around Measure Q is our bond for facilities. We talked about a lot of the projects we're looking forward to in the next tranche of funding. But one of the things I wanted to thank ASSC Rep. Kyran is his name, right? And student trustee Srinivasan for bringing up lighting issues. That brought it to the table again. So we were talking about it. Some of the things we need to just update because we've made some improvements as we've built new buildings and things, but we definitely have some things to look at in the next tranche. So thank you for bringing that to light again, right? And so that we were able to discuss those. And so I also want to just bring to the board president too, if there's any room for the board to collaborate with the ASSC to collect input or other things, let us know. We'd be happy to be involved.
Right. So thank you. Are there any other items from the board? If not, we'll move on to item 20. I'll call on the representative from Vallejo, my esteemed colleague, A. Marie Young.
I move that the November 1st, board meeting, Solano College District adjourned.
Trustee Thurston, do you have a second?
I second that motion.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, good meeting.